Ladies and gentlemen, you are invited to direct your attention to the center of the quadrangle for the placing of the wreath on the tomb of William Marsh Rice, during which the traditional hymn Veni Creator Spiritus will be sung, and after which the academic procession will begin.
Veni Creator Spiritus, mentes tuorum visita, imple superna gratia, que tu creasti pectora. Qui diceris Paraclitis, altissimi donum Dei, fons vivus ignis caritas, et spiritatis unctio.
You may be seated. Good morning. Let's do it again. Good morning. My name is David Lee Braun, and as the president of Rice University, I would like to welcome you to these 94th commencement exercises. Commencement is a time when the entire university joins together in celebration with the families and friends of our graduates. We welcome all the visitors to our campus, and we thank you for lending us these outstanding graduates who have contributed so richly to our community. I am pleased to introduce to you on the front rows of the platform our current and emeritus members of the Rice University Board of Trustees. And now that you've gotten comfortable, please rise for the invocation by the Reverend William Lawson.
Will you bow? Lord, we call you by many names, and we revere you through many traditions. But we all come to consensus in the recognition that you are the highest power, the greatest beneficence, the uncaused cause, our God. We come today to praise you for all the things you have given to us, to repent for all of the ways in which we have fallen short of your glory, and to appeal to you to give us direction that we might become better servants tomorrow than we were today. We come on this special day to commend and to congratulate all of these graduates who have come to this level, this administration and faculty who have given guidance and direction to them and to this university, to all of the families and loved ones who have supported and loved all of these students from infancy until now. And now we ask that you will help us in this ceremony to say and to do those things that will motivate these graduates to grant to this community contributions that will be singular. We ask that you will speak through these who are on program today to these graduates who have come to accomplish what they have accomplished. And we recognize that we have not achieved nor accomplished any of this alone. We have depended not only upon our own acumen and abilities, but upon you. And so we praise you for who you are and for what you do. In your own holy name, amen.
Please be seated. Thank you so much, Reverend Lawson. It is especially fitting that in this year, as we mark the 40th anniversary of the matriculation of Rice's first African Americans who went on to receive their bachelor's degrees, that Reverend Lawson delivers our invocation and benediction. Reverend Lawson is the founding pastor of the historic Wheeler Avenue Baptist Church and is a widely respected community leader who has been involved for many decades as an advocate for African Americans, Hispanics, women, and the poor. He was a leader in the push for the desegregation of Houston area schools in the 1960s. His efforts were recognized in 1996 when the city of Houston honored him with the creation of a nonprofit agency called the William A. Lawson Institute for Peace and Prosperity. Reverend Lawson is the very symbol of Houston's positive approach to the diversity of our city, and we are pleased that he has agreed to enrich the educational process at Rice during the spring of next year by serving as the first distinguishing visiting lecturer through the Houston Enriches Rice Education Initiative. He represents the best intersection of optimism and activism, and we are grateful that he has taken the time to inspire us today. Although we are here to honor the graduates who will be receiving their degrees today, Commencement also marks an opportunity to recognize the distinguished faculty, staff, and alumni who have given extraordinary service to the university. In your programs are printed the names of those who were selected this year for teaching awards, those named by the colleges, the Student Association, and the Graduate Student Association as recipients of their awards, and those who will be honored at a banquet this evening by the Association of Rice Alumni. May I ask all those faculty who were honored yesterday for their outstanding teaching, and the 9 who were honored for their outstanding service as associates of Rice's residential colleges, to rise and be recognized. Five faculty members who retire at the end of this academic year were saluted yesterday in the faculty meeting. Many staff members also retired this year. Their names are also listed in the program. Let us also applaud them for their devoted and honorable service to our university. At Rice, it is at least recent tradition that there is no student speaker, and more positively, that the president makes no significant remarks. I don't quite plan to violate either of those traditions today, but in lieu of a student speaker, I would like to quote a few excerpts from a recent talk by one of those graduating today. Begin the quote here. Throughout my 4 years here at Rice, there has been one particular question that has followed me from the time I committed here as a high school senior to this very day. Why did you choose to come to Rice University? I laugh to myself sometimes when I reflect on my 4 years here. Like everybody, it's been filled with ups and downs, highs and lows. But when I look past all those old trials and tribulations and look at my current situation, something kind of hits me. I realize that despite my humble beginnings as a confused freshman, that despite all of that, and maybe because of all of that, at this point in my life, I'm right where I want to be. Would I have been in the same situation had I gone to a different school or a bigger school? Who knows? All I know is that my experience here has taught me how to persevere and remain true to myself regardless of what others around me say. Rice has given me the avenue I needed to achieve all of my goals and dreams. Wherever I end up when my time here has passed, I'll represent the university from now until forever. Whenever someone asks me why I chose to come to Rice University, I'll be able to answer with pride, I'm just fortunate Rice University chose me. I want to thank Morris Almond for those words. I think Morris's family's over there somewhere. I hope all of you feel as he does. And let me say that not only are we at Rice also glad we chose you, but grateful and proud that you chose Rice. I now have the distinct honor to introduce our commencement speaker. While John Doerr might not be a household name to all of you, he has someone who has influenced almost every household. John Chambers, the chairman and CEO of Cisco Systems, praised John as, quote, the single best venture capitalist in the world. Jeff Bezos, the founder and president and CEO of Amazon.com, referred to John as the center of gravity in the Internet. PC World magazine ranked John among the top 10 most important people on the web and called him, quote, the king of Silicon Valley venture capital. At the end of the 20th century, Time magazine included John on its list of technology's 50 most important faces. The people who changed everything, quote, the entrepreneurs, artists, and inventors who made the digital world a practical, cool, and fascinating place to be. In its write-up about John, Time magazine gave him the title of venture capitalist Johnny Appleseed, and noted that in a world of Midas touches, venture capitalist John Doerr's handshake is the most golden. Perhaps Scott McNeely, the co-founder and CEO of Sun Microsystems, summed up our commencement speaker most eloquently. John Doerr is the Energizer Bunny on steroids and hardwired to the Hoover Dam power plant. He burns brighter than mere mortals, yet is one of the most human people I know. 34 years ago, John sat through a commencement ceremony here at Rice. Unlike you, he had to endure the ceremony in Autry Court because that year was one of the few times the weather didn't cooperate with the Rice commencement. I'd also like to add my appreciation to the words expressed by Reverend Lawson to the powers that prove the weather forecaster is completely wrong today. By the way, back then, Autry Court wasn't air-conditioned. John was awarded a Bachelor of Science degree in electrical engineering. A year later, he received a master's degree from Rice, also in electrical engineering. He then went on to earn an MBA from Harvard Business School in 1976. Over the next 3 decades, John became the most influential venture capitalist of his generation. He was the founding CEO of Silicon Compilers, CAD software company, and co-founder of At Home, the first broadband cable network. He joined Intel Corporation in 1974, just as the firm invented the legendary 8080 microprocessor, and he became one of Intel's top-ranked sales executives. He says he felt lucky he was in the right place at the right time, but I think his track record clearly indicates that his success is due to much more than luck. In 1980, John joined Kleiner Perkins, Caulfield & Byers in Menlo Park, and with his partners, he backed many of America's best entrepreneurial leaders. Maybe you'll recognize a few of the companies which John Doerr helped energize to success: Google, Amazon.com, Intuit, Sun Microsystems, Compact, and a host of other businesses that have indeed changed how we lead our lives. The Kleiner Perkins Caulfield & Byers website notes that John is a technologist and an inventor and describes him as optimistic, enthusiastic, and energetic. Others have said his trademark personality traits include an unrelenting drive and a competitiveness and willingness to take huge risks and go beyond standard procedure to attain success and to make a contribution. While we should marvel at John's business savvy and success, we should also note of his personal efforts to make the world a better place. He is passionately leading and encouraging innovation to prevent pandemic avian flu and global infectious disease. He cares deeply about public education, world poverty and health, women as leaders, and public policies which produce great science and innovative research. He co-founded the New Schools Fund, so far backing 25 education entrepreneurs, starting 400 new public charter schools. He co-chaired California Proposition 71, which authorized $3 billion for stem cell research, and California Proposition 39, which raised $18 billion for public schools. In sum, John has been a leading spokesman and advocate on issues of national and international importance, and a man who has mobilized people and resources to find solutions. John married a Rice alum, Ann Hallandor, who, like John, earned bachelor's and master's degrees in electrical engineering. The Association of Rice Alumni recognized John's many accomplishments and contributions to Rice by selecting him as the recipient of the Distinguished Alumni Award in 1997. Many people measured their success in the number of minutes they get to speak with John Doerr. One measure of John's commitment to Rice is his preparation for this commencement. Earlier this year, he took the time to come here and meet with a group from the class of 2007 to learn about your interests and ideas. Perhaps John's career and public contributions can be summed up with one fundamental thought: ideas matter. And when the ideas are good, they produce not only economic success, but the improvement of human lives. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to the speaker for Rice's 94th commencement ceremony, John Doerr.
Thank you, President Liebren. Distinguished faculty, parents, family, and guests, and most of all, the class of 2007, I'm honored to be with you on this wonderful occasion. President Liebren was very kind in his introduction. I asked him what I should talk about today. He said, about 10 minutes. But when I met with some of you graduates, you said, John, talk to us about life and love. So I'm going to tell you 4 love stories. 3 about me, and the 4th about you. Just 4 stories. The first story is about a love that all of us can identify with. Love for parents. You can probably remember when you were young, how you looked up to your parents as your heroes. For me, that feeling has never gone away. My parents raised 5 kids in St. Louis on a middle-class income and always made us feel we came first. They worked hard and saved money to send all of us through college. And I remember how proud they were the day that I got an acceptance letter from Rice. In the nearly 40 years since, they've always been here for me and my siblings. They've loved each of us unconditionally and made sure we knew it. They've always been proud of whatever we do. And I try to share the important events in my life with them, so naturally they are here today. I'd like to introduce them to you. My dad and hero, Lou Doerr, and my amazing mom, Rosemary, and my great mother-in-law, Jo Howland. Would you stand for just a moment, please? Thank you. "34 years ago, they were here, not far from where they are now. Now, my mom and I chat every week to share what's happening. She's always there, 100% empathetic and listening. My siblings and I make a concerted effort to plan the holidays so we can be together. And every year, for as far back as I can remember, we've had our last family vacation with all of us kids, our spouses and grandkids. Graduates, in the years ahead, your lives are going to get pretty hectic at times. There will always be another business trip to take, another phone call to make, and another dinner to attend. Yes, like today, your accomplishments will continue to make them proud. But remember, particularly this Mother's Day weekend, nothing will make Mom happier than picking up the phone and calling once a week. The most important lesson I learned from my parents is that family comes first. The second love story begins when I was an undergraduate here. In President Liebren's introduction, he only briefly mentioned my most important accomplishment, one that dwarfs all of the others. It occurred right here at Rice. I met my one true love. But it almost didn't happen. 3 years into Rice, I was a scrawny, nerdy electrical engineer. And I had one thing in common with most of my classmates. I couldn't get a date. That's when Ken Kennedy stepped in. Ken Kennedy's the one person I wish was with us here today. My teacher and friend Ken spent nearly 4 decades at Rice. As a beloved professor before he passed away in February. Now forgive me, but cancer sucks. At the beginning of my junior year, knowing that I was shy around girls, Ken pushed me to meet another engineering student named Ann Howland. For months, I wrote Ann's name over and over again and her number on the side of my legal pad. But I couldn't find the courage to call her. Honestly, I felt unlovable, and I feared she'd turn me down. But Friday night, February the 2nd, was unlike any other Friday night. Yes, I was alone in the basement of the Memorial Center just outside KTRU, watching Star Trek and probably feeling a bit sorry for myself. All of a sudden, though, in walked Anne, and she was sparkling, vivacious, sensitive, and very smart. And she was looking for me. What I didn't know is that Ken had worked some magic to get us together. He had encouraged Anne to ask me to help her fix the broken public address system at Jones College. I may have been shy, but I wasn't stupid. So Anne and I walked from the RMC through this quadrangle to Jones to check out that public address system. And I quickly concluded that it was broken. Very broken, and it was going to take a long time to fix. That same night, Ann and I walked from Jones College to a play rehearsal at Hammond Hall and then to an off-campus party, and then hand in hand around the stadium. We watched the sunrise. We became a couple. For many Friday nights following, we fine-dined on burgers from the Jack-in-a-Box that used to be at Kirby and University. Countless times, Ann helped me find my car, patiently searching the campus because I forgot where I parked it. I helped her buy her first car, which we named Woodstock. It was a yellow VW Beetle whose reverse gear didn't work. But best of all, we frequently walked around and around the Rice Stadium for hours, lost in each other, continuing our first date. Fortunately, Ann saw in me something only she could show me, that I was lovable and loved. She settled that question for me forever. So what really mattered for me at Rice wasn't starting KTRU or my master's degree in engineering or the great job opportunities or even, faculty, the outstanding teaching. What really mattered is that Ann moved me beyond myself, so I was able to love others. In 2 weeks, we'll celebrate our 29th wedding anniversary, and Mom and Dad, someday we hope to celebrate our 58th wedding anniversary, like you will in September. This leads to the third love story about kids. With Ann by my side, I took on unknowingly a truly big responsibility, having children. It took Ann and me about a decade of trying before we had Mary and Esther. Now, parents, what is it that you wish for your kids? From my mom and dad, I learned to be sure that your kids know first and foremost that they are loved unconditionally. And second, that they have the confidence to believe they can do anything, so at least they will try. And finally, that they are well socialized, they can figure out who they are and how to love others. As my kids enter adolescence and struggle to find their place, Ken Kennedy again comes to mind. Ken's wife, Carol, says he urged their daughter, Caitlin, to be who she is, not who others want her to be. Ken said, Caitlin, let yourself become the extraordinary person who you are. There's no greater gift a parent can give a child. What I've come to realize as a parent is something my mom and dad live fully. You make meaning in life through others. I repeat, make meaning through others. It's a simple, powerful message, but it's not so easy to live. I've been blessed with a strong upbringing and terrific family, but it's easy to lose track of one's priorities. About 10 years ago, I was not living life family first. I traveled too much. Anything last minute at work took priority over family. Once I started missing a few meals at home, it became easier to miss more. One day, I suddenly realized that Esther was walking. Mary was in kindergarten, and I was not as involved in their lives as I wanted to be. And then Ann developed cancer. Everything changed. I changed. I began living so that family is the highest priority. I wanted and I needed much more time with Ann, with Mary, and Esther, to be present with them the way my parents were there for me. Being home in the evenings has become one of my top priorities. And not just being home, but being present. So much so that we've declared 6 to 10 p.m. as an email-free family time zone. With Ann's cancer in remission, we live each day for the blessing that it is. I also travel less, a lot less than 5 days a month. And sometimes that means craziness, like flying to China for only 18 hours in order to get back home after just one night in Beijing. Sometimes it means not getting everything that I want done at work, not getting everything done. Business meetings, dinners, and travel must now pass the test. Is this really worth missing a night at home? Since applying this test, I'm getting home for dinner almost every night. Ken Kennedy taught me not to be afraid to fail, but there is one place you should not fail. That's with your family and your children. When I screw up as a venture capitalist, I may lose some money and a bit of pride, but if I fail as a parent, I lose love and lives that can never be regained. The fourth and last love story is yours. It's all about you and your loved ones. Only it's unfinished. You are writing it from this moment onwards, right here, right now. Don't wait 34 years to ask the important questions. Start today. What will all this book learning from Rice make of your life? Who are your role models, your mentors, your heroes? Most important, who is your true love? And what kind of parent are you, or do you want to be? How will you make meaning of life? It's easy to get lost in ambition and accomplishment, but that path, in and of itself, may not make a meaningful life. Apply what you know and what you learn to your own passion, and aim high. Ignore the pundits, including me. Accept advice and learn from others, but make it your own. And never forget that meaning comes from what you do with and for others. Meaning from the ones you love, and from those who love you, and all the others yet to be discovered. 4 simple love stories about Lou and Rosemary, and Ken and Ann. About parents keeping family first. About true love that allows you to love others. About kids and unconditional love for who they are. And about you making your own meaning. I'm always going to remember what my dad once told me. He said, "John, Mom and I are going to give you one gift which no one can ever take away, a good education. But it's up to you to decide what to do with it." A lot of people have worked awfully hard to help give you the education of a lifetime. Now it's up to you to decide what to do with it. That's enough questions and advice. For the rest of today, celebrate your success. Enjoy your family, your friends, and your loved ones. Be proud to call yourself a Rice graduate. So, class of 2007, here's your very last assignment. Please join me now. Let's stand up, please. Turn and applaud your parents and loved ones. Congratulations, class of 2007. You've earned it.
Thank you very much, John, for those warm and memorable words. I'm sure our graduates will keep in mind as they embark upon their lives in many dimensions. Now, please stand and join in the singing of Lord of all being, the words of which are printed in your program.
Lord of all being, throned afar, thy glory flames from sun and star, center and soul of every sphere, yet to each loving heart how near. Grant us thy truth to make us free, and kindling hearts that burn for thee, till all thy loving altars claim one holy light, one head.